Wildfires burn approximately 7 million acres annually in the United States. Oregon's Durkee Fire in 2024 burned nearly 300,000 acres, one of the largest wildfires in Oregon's history. Wildfires are a critical part of Oregon's ecosystems. However, families, communities, and landscapes are vulnerable when they are unprepared. Local workforce development programs are working to address this problem.
Workforce programs and pathways and natural resources are incredibly important here in Eastern Oregon because we are natural resources. If you drive 5 minutes up the road, you're going to be lost in the woods. And so natural resources all around us. And so we need people to be able to be the next stewards in our natural resources areas around here. And you can't do that without support for those pathways to get in there.
As our wildfire picture becomes more and more prevalent and we get more catastrophic wildfires on our landscape, doing that restoration thinning is so critical to shifting that landscape so that we are returning it to a truly fire-adapted ecosystem.
We are seeing, for a variety of reasons, hotter summers, we're seeing less snowpack in a lot of cases. We're seeing conditions that really make large wildfire disturbances much more of a reality in landscapes that aren't adapted to those and didn't see those, up until recently. One of our big challenges, is the workforce around doing all this conservation work. So we do have a lot of motivated landowners, and then we have, also a lot of motivation on the federal side of the fence, the national forest land, to get work done and do some of the things that we know, improve the health and vigor of our landscape and the resilience and all that.
Multiple local and regional programs, including Treasure Valley Community College's Natural Resource Program and Northwest Youth Corps, are providing participants with hands-on skills and experience in fire mitigation. Not only are these programs helping to mitigate wildfire risk for Northeast Oregon landowners, but are providing participants with practical skills, certifications, and a pathway toward a career in natural resources. Many involved receive job offers before the programs end and are able to start their career as soon as they graduate.
About that chain sitting on that bar, there's a lot of friction going on there, right? A lot of resistance going on.
Ask any person in fire, anybody at like a district office anywhere, they're looking for people to come and work. Fire is a really good job. I just don't think we do a very good job of getting it out there, let it be known for people, for students, that it's kind of at their disposal. We're in a really good spot for just fire in general. You go north, get into timbers, go south, down into the rangelands.
Wildland Fire degree is a 2-year degree program. It's really designed to get build somebody into a employable wildland firefighter. But it also connects to a lot of other things. Fuels management, certainly range management has a component in that degree.
Coming in, I just thought that fire was bad in general. We had to put them out at all costs. But being in Marcus's class, you learn fire is actually part of the natural cycle.
Always been told fire is bad, fire destroys everything, but really it doesn't. Of course it does, but at the same time it brings benefits. Like I said, one, cleans up our forests, better vegetation for next year, food for wildlife.
I didn't know that wildfires could be a good way to control habitat in forests and with all the vegetation, because you don't want to just keep this forest growing until another fire happens with it and it just explodes and causes more damage.
What's really cool about the program is it's designed to have multiple off-ramps. So a student could essentially start with us and just take a package of classes which would give them certifications, get them employable, and then if they wanted to just go right into the workforce, they could. It also has, 1-year degree or 1-year certificate options, and then if they wanted to carry that all the way through to a full 2-year degree, they can do that also.
I think with what we're doing here in this program, with the with this funding that we have, get students out into like their local communities to do a lot of this fire prevention stuff. I think for the longest time, fire in general has been in this reactive approach to managing fires, which is my main job. As soon as the fire starts, we get called to it, we react to it, and then we go about fighting fire, which is very expensive. And I think programs like this that we have the funding for is kind of making a push in the opposite direction, make more proactive approach to getting people out ahead of time to do a lot of fire mitigation, fire prevention, stuff like that, fuel reduction work, project work.
A lot of landowners are highly motivated to let youth come on their property to gain skills and training. They view, youth development as important as a lot of us in the workforce development world do. And with that, we also provide some educational opportunities to that, to those youth, tell them why they're doing this work, maybe take them out and show them hey, what do the tools to prescribe fire look like, providing the capacity that otherwise would not be there. So it's basically value added, doing work that would not have otherwise been done, and doing something that is really amenable to those landowners. Like I said, they would much rather see youth coming out gaining skills than seeing a random contractor from the Audi area come and do the work.
Today we are at a house in Baker City. It's a WUI, it's part of the Firewise community. So WUI's Wildland Urban Interface. It's areas that kind of butt up against the wildland and you want to protect them from any fire that happens. And today we're just going through, thinning the property, getting rid of any old dead trees or any trees that could kill others and then create a bigger fire. That's kind of what we're doing. We may get to burn some of our piles that we've cut and piled together, so that's what we'll be doing.
One of the big lessons, and this kind of just contributes to them all putting in for fire jobs, is getting some time running a chainsaw and being comfortable running a chainsaw. Obviously, being on a fire incident, you're running a chainsaw, 90% of the time. So having that experience is going to be key for them to get a job and help them get a job. And also having, again, that fire mind when we're working around these properties, trying to think what would happen if a fire were to burn through here, or if they were to get a fire coming, pushing this property, what would happen, what would it look like? Thinking about fire on the ground, burning up into trees, all that stuff, thinking everything from the surface fuels up to the ladder fuels, up into the canopy, all that stuff, getting the dead trees out of here. So just kind of thinking about that, trying to get their minds kind of think like that, okay, we're in this spot, this is my house, what does it look like if a fire were to burn through here, and how can I prevent that, from it burning up the structures or really causing damage to my property.
Really enjoying the experience. I like being out in the woods, and I like using a chainsaw, and I like, obviously the group's pretty cool. It's a very fun time, and it's great to just be able to come out and learn, but also have a great time doing it.
Oh, I mean, it's been great. We're learning how to buck up and limb trees. We'll later learn how to fall bigger trees, but that's as we learn. But I mean, it's just been great to learn about thinning and getting hands-on with chainsaws, having to keep them clean, sharpen them, maintain them. I mean, it's just been great being out here with this experience.
So obviously, when we're cutting all this fuel, there's certain ways to get rid of it. Obviously, you could do it mechanically, you could put it through a chipper, chip all this stuff out. What we're doing is burning, or piling them. So if you guys seen some of the piles around here, we're piling them up. Once we cut all that stuff, piling them up and then eventually burning them, and that's just removing the fuel.
I have a real interest in bringing back fire on the landscape in a healthy way. So the use of prescribed fire to prepare for future fires, as well to have all the benefits that fire brings to the landscape and helping create more healthy, resilient systems. And so with that, there's these prescribed burn associations out there that have been really successful across different regions of the U.S. That's where landowners, community members come out. They pair up with agency folks or people like me to support them. And they actually go, implement prescribed burns on their own, which is something that, is viewed as dangerous in a lot of cases, but they've, done hundreds of burns in the last few years and had, I think 0 escapes, into wildfires.
Of these restoration projects is so important just ecologically, but also socially and economically. If we have people whose jobs are connected to these restoration projects and conservation projects, you are also just cultivating a group of people that are invested in that landscape, and that has a ripple effect in our communities.
We have a huge job to do out here, managing the land, and there's more work that needs done than we have people to do it. So establishing those partnerships and gaining those additional crews really help us out. As far as workforce development, it gives young foresters the skills that they need to kind of come work for other agencies. We'll see those folks typically come through. They'll develop those job skills that they need to be competitive.
Got so many people around here living in dense, congested, wooded areas that are so prone to wildfires. I mean, you look at the past 4 years in Oregon have just been insanely destructive, and it seems like it could only be getting worse. With only so many, full-time hand crews available, having a program where we can not only do the work, but also develop people into, being in a more professional fuels reduction setting is super important. It's kind of like while firefighting is being reactive, fuels reduction is being proactive. So that's the point here. We're getting ahead of it before fires can start and spread.
The program has definitely helped me realize not only how many opportunities there are, but directing me with feeling more comfortable walking into a career. It's giving me not only aspects of leadership and community, but also all kinds of tool use, different new environments and ecosystems we're learning. And so with every tool comes new knowledge of the environment and why we're using it for the environment, which has really helped me open my eyes to how complicated but how nurturing nature is. I feel like sometimes when you're the new guy in town, like it's hard to break out of that shell. And so it's been awesome how just kind everyone comes off right away to you and how helpful they are. Like we do debriefs at the end of each workday and talk about different problems we had or appreciations we had. And I really like that. I've never had that in a work environment where we're discussing how we feel. And it feels more comfortable too working alongside people that I know how they feel about the job. So I think that's always an important aspect when you're working in a team, is knowing how everybody's feeling and getting the chance to open up and be vulnerable in these type of scenarios.
I think it's especially important for our youth, because a lot of folks grow up, and I grew up with a lot of video games myself, and it took a little bit of time to really get integrated into this natural world and really create a love for it. But creating those opportunities where they get out there, get out in the sunshine, connect with things, and just make it a little bit more real to them, because we have so many influences telling us how the world works and all that. When you actually get out there, experience it, everything changes, and we start to develop our own views and our own ways of connecting, that are unique to each individual person.
My name is Nayeli Mancia. I am someone that's been living in the woods since they were a kid. And what brought me to the program was the fact that I've, since a kid, been so connected to nature that I felt like I had to do something for my connection just to keep it lively, even in adulthood when you have to have a job. So this is probably the best route for me to go.
We've been kind of using different skills each week, and I think every week we've just kind of as a unit been perfecting our efficiency and workflow. And I would say that there was probably a point at which I started to trust all these guys to roll with it and start making the plans, but at the same time, I think it's just an upward slope. They're always gaining more skills. They're always getting better senses for what to do. These last few weeks I've just been letting them, run the show, and it's been great. Yeah.
My experience has been awesome. I get to meet so many different people that are like-minded and we get to interact with each other and understand that we all are doing this for the same purpose, for the same reasons.
This program, anything like this, Conservation Corps, is just a stellar resume builder, because not only do you actually get really solid leadership experience and experience making game plans and communicating, but you also get so many certs. They're all Forest Service certified sawyers now, and they're all working towards getting their red cards for Wildfire, and it's just such a buff for resumes, and they're all going to be square to go into something awesome after this, I'm sure.
I think the value is you're giving youth a direct in to getting skills and experiences and things that will help them in the future. The biggest challenge for so many youth getting into a natural resources career is getting that foot in the door. Getting just a little bit of experience to build on. So they get this experience through the conservation corps or youth corps or whatever they may be, and they just have something to put on the resume to say, hey, I did a little bit of that work. That's what so many jobs are looking for. Because it's really hard, costs a lot of money to train somebody from scratch. So they get some of those skills, develop a little bit of experience.
A lot of these skills that we see, these folks coming in to our workforce with, are skills that take time to develop. Having a base is great, because that's folks that are already developed, folks that we can build on that training that they already have. When we look at resumes, that's very attractive to kind of see that they already have some of those skills.
Yeah, to anyone who would be interested in doing NYC or any conservation corps where they're at, I think it's very important to know that it's an opportunity that even if you leave deciding you don't want to work outdoors, you'll absolutely never forget. Not only do you build a strong community and meet friends who teach you all kinds of skills, from knitting to sewing to different identifying trees, you learn so much knowledge even outside the field just from conversating with other people, but also it identifies with yourself and the skills you learn. You learn what's actually stressing you out and how to gain more patience in scenarios that can be difficult in life. And so it preps you a lot for just that overall stress as you're growing up and becoming an adult. And I believe it's also a great opportunity. I know trade schools cost a lot of money, lots of jobs that won't offer paid training, and lots of certifications that cost a lot of money. So not only do they help us out living here and getting those stipends, but also with the education award. That's going to open my door so wide to getting wilderness safety, or taking some classes at a community college that I want to learn some things about, to books or a laptop that would greatly help me. Like, it just opens a lot of doors to where when you leave this program, even if you decided not to go down the direct career path, it's changed your life to the opportunities you can have without a degree nowadays.